you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And you know what? I didn't ask anyone to do a prayer. Would someone like to do a prayer? I have an addendum. Children, why don't you do a prayer? Come up with a prayer that's short and very meaningful.
Lord God, we give you thanks for this day and for all of the Rotarians and for all the outreach we do, especially tonight when we are giving outreach to local people. We be with all those who are not with us, who are traveling, and keep us mindful of our duties to each other. Amen.
And before we sit down, my addendum is, and Godspeed to all of you, all of us, who are on the front line of our highest calling. That's true. While we're sitting down, Walter, is it the truth? Is it fair? Be beneficial. Those are the 4 rules we go by in this club, in business, and that's kind of the basis of the club from back a long time ago, more than 100 years. I wanted to make sure that everybody had an idea that last week we just had a great discussion about Health Express. We had the doctor in that's running this, I guess you'd call it an ambulatory care center down in Pembroke, and he came in. He was going to talk about his business. I thought he would. He gave a whole thing on the Affordable Care Act, right? And what they could do, a 5-minute fix, how you could fix the whole doggone system. So those of you that weren't here, you know. Be here. Unfortunately, we did not have the video people here. So, but my 3 mantras for tonight, normally I only have 1, but isn't it nice to be here amongst friends? I'd have to say yes on such a crumb. Even though I put a sign up there so no one would walk up those dangerous stairs, and I almost needed to put a doggone pair of tank traps up there. Because that was, everybody was going to go that way. I thought they were going to die. The second one is, I probably owe $1 for this, but I'm half finished. So guess what?
Yeah. I heard, I saw.
Beat the Russians today in hockey. Oh, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And the Slovenes, which is the other half of my heritage, did a pretty doggone good job. Okay, and then I just wanted to mention that Nikki from the public radio, TV, this isn't Nikki, but did just a wonderful PSA about the club on YouTube, and I played it last week. I got it here, so I wanted to see it after the meeting. Yes, sir. Wait.
I hope I'm not misspeaking, but just before I left on the BBC News, they were saying something about the Russian hockey team being disqualified.
They're done.
No, they're done because they lost. They're out of the quarterfinals.
Yeah, but they're also disqualified for something or the other.
Oh, really?
That's, if I'm not misspeaking, that's just the way I heard it. As I was sort of
they got beat up maybe, and even worse.
but then you need to be worried about being beat up by Putin.
They are.
Ben, do you have a what's that?
Send them to Kiev.
Yeah.
Ben, do you have a comment about the Rotary moment here? Usually you have to wait a minute or two. I'm going to let everyone know, but it's always a good ending.
Well, we used to call this words of wisdom. The previous former member said I should continue what he was doing. Words of wisdom. So 2 presidents ago, I started doing this. Most of us can name several people whom we are grateful to have in our lives. But can we be grateful for the neighbor who's always crossing that invisible line in the sand the annoying family member who tells everybody's business, or the coworker who pushes our buttons. You know anything about the Tibetan Buddhist practice of Lojong? And the answer is yes. Being grateful to everyone is just one of the 59 Lojong mind training practices. It helps us to develop more compassion and achieve enlightenment by making us aware of the reactions that individuals provoke from us. Only then can you transform your attitudes and behavior without adding to the negativity. Buddhist nun Pema Chodron explains it this way. Be grateful to everyone is about making peace with the aspects of ourselves that we have rejected. Through doing that, we also make peace with people we dislike. More to the point, being around people we dislike is often a catalyst for making friends with ourselves.
Excellent.
That's a hear, hear. Well, I was at Draper. I was working with a bunch of guys from MIT, and you had to kind of define good morning. And boy, some of these guys that really get under your skin, and they were all kind of passive-aggressive, extremely smart, upper right-hand corner introverts. And of course, that is not my stat. That's not me. And so I got this book on how to get along with unruly or uncomfortable or ridiculous people. And it ends up, you got to look in the mirror. So I guess we could go around and introduce some of the guests that we have here. However, everyone who is in an organization that we're going to honor will be up here and have a chance to defend themselves. And won't need to, but there are a couple people here who are here actually looking at us a little bit and maybe and have done some things to help us in the past. The one good piece of news is I spoke to Jeannie this afternoon, and she's submitting her application again.
That's good.
Very happy to have her thinking about it and coming back. She was concerned about coming every week, which is another person. Now, Deb is also visiting with us here, and she's a real estate person, so she has hours that are fairly unpredictable, and you have to kind of be there when people want you to be there. But same kind of situation. And I think that the way Rotary is these days, it's much easier to be a member and not have to be here every week as long as you're engaged in what's actually going on.
I had lunch with Jeannie a couple of weeks ago. I told her the same thing. I said, you don't have to come. She said, I have my baby. I can't leave Jack. I said, it's all right.
I want the baby to come to the meeting.
I said, you don't
They
have to
all
come
look like
every
me. I love them. They all have blue eyes. They don't have any hair. They look just like me.
Because that was her concern.
And his name is
Jack.
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 Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, his name is Jack.
This kid can do no wrong. She comes by and brings him along. So we have Deb Stewart, who is here for the first time, and she is actually somewhat interested in finding out more about what we do. So hopefully she doesn't pay too much attention to me, and she just pays attention to the people she's sitting with. Let's see, we've got no other guests there. We've got Karen here. That's very good. Thank you for coming tonight. Ed, we're going to introduce. We've got another guy we're going to introduce. Everybody else. Well, we've got one more guy, a guy named Peter Burrows over here with the big mustache. He's kind of my, what would you say, sort of kind of my cousin, but he's not. My wife and his former wife passed away. We're cousins.
So they're your cousins.
Are we cousins? Yeah. Well, he's my rich cousin. He sent us a little money to add money to what we gathered in Marshfield for the what I call retail solicitation philanthropy that we do over there with these foolish little cards. And I think if Bernie were here, for all of you that don't know what these things are, I think Bernie, honestly, he gives you the little box, and then I think he expects to inventory the cards and count the money based on how much the card is worth. Like he wants $50 for each of these. And you know, when Jack does this, if a little kid comes along, he grabs the gold one for $1. So it wouldn't, my tally sheet wouldn't balance, not a bit. Okay, so did I miss anyone that's not going to get reintroduced later? You're going to get a minute. We're going to bring you up after supper, and we'll introduce you and talk a little bit about your work, and then we'll give you a minute to talk about your projects if you want for a minute or two. And Mal, that's a minute or two.
I'm going to send Steve up this time.
Good decision. Very good decision. Mal was instrumental in getting this little book out that we worked on last year with Marshfield, as was Joe Weinman, wherever Joe.
Joe's right beside me, right here.
Joe ended up right there, and others. So we appreciate you guys all, everybody being here. Let's see. So really, we want to thank all of the people that do this. Especially, we have some money for the top sellers too. Some people from the stores. And they weren't able to come tonight, and we'll get to them later. But you know, the Rotarians and then some residents from organizations actually stood out there and helped us sell in Marshfield, because there were only 2 of us, 3 of us selling. And so I had people from this, and she'll be here later. Kristen Dewey will be here later. She had to go to a week or something. Hopefully it's not an Irish week. Might be a while. I can say that I married an Irishman. I did. That looks sort of Irish. Okay. Are you looking at me like dinner's ready?
Yes, sir.
That's what I thought. I was getting So we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back, do a little bit of business about future activities, and then talk about the money, and maybe do some happy sad bucks if we get time to do that. So as a guest, you get to lead up to the feeding trough.
Yep, yes, go first.
Yeah. So Peter, I know that Sue is going to be there with me. And there are 3 people from the COA that are going to help us set those up. They know where to do it.
Where's theirs?
To the Council on Aging in Marshfield. It's down Webster Street, just past Daniel Webster Estate. It's right. I mean,
Right on Webster Street, Jim?
Yes.
Yes.
It's on the left.
Right on the left.
On the left, you're heading toward 139.
Would you post your address so I can put it into my GPS?
320. 320.
Going from 139.
Yeah, the other 139 is really confusing.
Is that times?
What we're going to do is, so at 3:30 on Friday, we're going to put, I think just the 2 of us plus those 3 people put the chairs up, and she has covers and flowers for the tables. It's very nice. And then on Saturday morning, she's going to open up at 8:30, so that we can get in there and start cooking. We're going to have ham, lots of ham, and we're going to start serving at 12 o'clock straight up. We have people, 4 or 5 people, a crew from the Friendship Home or House, coming in uniform, with uniforms, and I think it'll really be cool. We have 2 people from the COA that are helping us in the kitchen. They're experts with the pearl diving. They're experts with the, see, there's only one person know what a pearl diver is. Anyway, don't you guys know what pearl diving is?
No.
Dishwashing. Dishwashing. It's an old term, Irish term, I can think, for dishwashing. At any rate, they have 2 people that are going to help us with dishwashing. And so we're very much looking forward to it. Carol Hamilton is the lady running it. She's going to be there to open up at 8:30.
We have a musical accompaniment.
That was semi a surprise, but I think that I think there's a potential, as long as the grand piano is tuned, I spoke to Lambert. He's going to play it.
That'd be great.
Oh, that's going to be special. It's a beautiful, big, gigantic, grand field. So I guess they don't categorize baby grands, anything other than grands. The thing is huge. So we'll see what happens there. He was over checking it out today.
And Joe, you want people there at 10:30, right?
Yeah.
Is that what we discussed? So you
So people are supposed to come 10:30 on Saturday?
Right, Rotarians there at 10:30, other than people who are actually cooking?
You think that's enough time?
That's what we discussed last week.
Yeah.
Is that still the same?
Yeah, I asked the people from Friendship Hall to be there at 11, but 10:30 for us.
And someone's bringing the aprons?
Yeah, I was going to ask who's bringing the apron. Who's got it? Joe's got it?
Well, we're going to be there.
No lasagna on them? No lasagna on them, they look great.
There may be a little lasagna on some of the,
I know you. They've been broken in.
The next thing I wanted to say, unless there's other questions about that, it should take until around 2, no later than that. We have a table for at least 10 at the district winter event, March 1st, right?
That's the ball, correct?
Ball, yeah. And then I wanted to give Lucille a moment to talk about April 4th. We have Tony Dubois coming
I sent,
here again.
he'll be here, he'll be back again on April 4th, Friday
Stand
night.
over here.
We'll be having, Tony will be here Friday, April 4th. Same venue that we had the last time. And for those of you that haven't been here, he's a musical savant. He's also autistic and blind. He's tremendous. He plays beautiful, beautiful music, everything from jazz to classical, you name it. So today I forwarded flyers to everyone. I will have hardcovers and hardcover flyers and also posters. So I'll be visiting some of you, and if you would post the flyer, we'd love it. Because we have 150 tickets. They did go very quickly the last time, and we're hoping to have the same success. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Yeah, this guy, yeah.
And $20 each, is that right?
He's got,
What the song is, you can sing it and sing the words.
he's a musical savant that,
Yeah, it must be like 5,000 songs that he knows.
he was invited to Berkeley for a summer session, and he ended up graduating from there with magna cum laude. And he didn't know how to speak any English, or very limited English when he went there, and he learned.
He didn't speak at all, it wasn't English, he just didn't speak.
Yeah, he couldn't speak. But now he knows probably a bunch of them. It's been all
He
over.
is fascinating.
Yeah, he is fascinating. So that's something we need to work on during March. And of course, Jack is not participating too much in the sale of those tickets because he's in Florida.
And then he'll be done by 8:30.
And it's here.
This year, I wanted to get to the sales, and the main reason for being here, yeah, that's right. This really isn't a situation where we're giving money to people. This is really kind of a celebration of volunteerism. And honestly, I think it's the highest calling, like I said in my little prayer earlier. You missed my prayer.
You guys didn't get it on video.
She probably did. She did get it on video too. But service is probably the highest calling that most of us, all of us, have had during our lifetime. So there's great joy in handing out a little bit of money, but more just recognizing that we're all in this together. And in terms of Marshfield, I can say that people who are sitting here from Marshfield, we're out there doing retail philanthropy, I call it, out in front of these stores with me. And I appreciate that. We had the people from Reach aren't able to be here, but tonight they're all at a school, so we'll have to wait for them to come back and get to them some other night. Those kids were there every shift in Marshfield, and that was pretty amazing if you think about it. So, should I do Marshfield first and then okay. First of all, Kristen, why don't you come up and I have a check for you for sowing seeds. Kristen is Friends of Sowing Seeds, and they do the money gathering for and charity work for Sowing Seeds program, but it's an excellent outfit. And it's the first one I've ever seen where you have 20 people interviewing families when they request help to make sure what they need is what they think they need is what they really need. I think it's fantastic. We've been doing it a long time. Oh, we get this hand. Oh, that's good.
Christine, can you spell your name as well?
Sure.
K-A-R-I-S-T-I-N.
I got it.
And what's your last name?
Dewey, D-E-W-E-Y.
You can spend a minute
Oh,
talking a little bit about what you're
Oh,
Tell
okay.
everybody about it.
Okay, so Sowing Seeds is actually celebrating their 20th anniversary this year. We are 100% volunteer, 100% privately funded, always have been. Our mission is to assist families. Oh, hi, welcome. I didn't see you. Assist families in need, facing financial crisis with anything from housing assistance to utilities, medical bills, prescription needs. We have 3 arms. Just to sort of break it down, our intake committee, which is what we're just touching upon, answers calls for help. We field calls from a hotline, and 2 intake members conduct a home visit to discern the needs of the family or the individual. And out of that comes, what we decide to donate to them, whatever their biggest need is at that time. Whether it be the housing or the food, anything, you name it. Sometimes it's just a shoulder to lean on, and we also do give out resources so people can help themselves, so they know that there are many people out there that can help them. We have a transportation division that provides rides to people to and from medical appointments and other important places that they need to be. And we also have a clothing bank, which is probably our most visible piece. It is run out of the Old Baptist Church on 139 in Marshfield. It was donated to Sowing Seeds by the Baptist Church about 8 years ago. And out of that, we run our headquarters where we have our meetings. And we also have our clothing bank there, where we service about 2,000 families a year with new and gently used clothing, infant needs, food cards, and other gift certificates to clothing stores or special circumstances. So that's what we do in a nutshell. And every dollar that comes in really does go to helping people in need. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And like most people working for Sowing Seeds in Marshfield, you can feel the gravitational pull of a person called Mary Lou. And I'm sure I'll end up working for her at some point. She's really a force. You've met her before, so you might remember Mary. Okay. Joe, you're the representative from Boys and Girls Club because the guy that stood up and sold all those little trees was Alex. So he didn't want to infect everyone else. Joe Weinman is kind of my philanthropist guru. Yeah, he's on the board of the Boys and Girls Club. Thank you very much for coming. Even though I wanted to mention that working for Joe, that's yes.
Probably I should say it. He needs help. You're all, I'm sure, familiar with the Boys and Girls Club. The club in Marshfield was originally, back in 1999, a number of us sat down, I think it was in the basement of the Congregational Church, and decided that we were going to start the Boys and Girls Club. And we had to explain to the people that it was going to take a little bit more than bottle redemptions and bake sales to make the place go. Our initial club was in a storefront down near the Marshfield Library, Library Plaza, about 4,000 square feet. Today we're in an 18,000 square foot building that we have built over, behind Roach Brothers and up a little further up the hill. And it's a state-of-the-art facility. We have a large gym. We have a computer room, we have a games room, we have an arts and crafts room, we have a commercial kitchen, and it is just functioning real well. We have approximately 500 kids who are members now, and we have buses that run from all of from the elementary schools to the club every afternoon, and it gets great use. We have athletic fields, room for a couple of soccer games or a couple of lacrosse games going on, and we managed to get a couple of basketball games going on inside. There's a teen room, so we're ready to pretty well take care of the needs of a large number of kids. We were very fortunate that Pat Roach, when he was alive, was our initial benefactor. We found a few others whose names I won't divulge to you. We were very fortunate that we were able to do what we did. We started out thinking of an $8 million program. We ended up with a $3 million program, and we're really delighted and very pleased to enjoy it, as I said, the fruits of your labor.
I'll take a picture.
Now we'll talk about Jack. I'm worried about it.
John, going close.
We do. We don't give them a power saw. We give them a hammer, maybe.
Yeah, well,
We've got them into a few.
I get the big wrecking bar, I get
The
that.
big wrecking bar. He's got that down to be fast.
We brought 15 kids to a hockey game last fall, too, from the Boys and Girls Club. If you don't want to ever have fun, just do that. Go with those kids. Oh, you know what? They got the TV going around the stadium, and these kids are all dancing to the music and stuff. I don't know if they ever watched the hockey game. They had a ball. They absolutely had a ball. Mel, come on, or Steve, are you coming up, or is Mel?
Melvin's coming up. He said he couldn't do 30 seconds.
We've already given Mal his money, so I brought him in tonight just so that he could tell a little bit about what he's doing. He's the kind of guy that opened up a not-for-profit with money that he won. Right?
Yes. I don't let people know that. But yes.
He didn't have a hell of a lot. And I think that's wonderful.
Thank you. The Good Neighbor Fund, which it is now called, we changed the name last year because it had such a misnomer to it, where it was called short-term housing. And we're still getting calls for people needing housing, which we don't have. So we help people with many needs. We work very well with Sowing Seeds. Kristen and I are very good friends because of that. We work very close with them. We help people with all kinds of different things, although we go out of town. We're from Plymouth to Weymouth, roughly, that we help people. And have actually gone as far as over to Taunton and Foxborough area where people get in touch with us. How they hear of us, I honestly don't know. Word of mouth. We do the best vetting job that we can do in town. If we're working in Marshfield or locally, Sowing Seeds does most of the vetting for us, so we don't worry about the people in that regard. But that's always an issue, which I had a question tonight, was how do you vet people? It's never an easy process to vet somebody, as I'm sure you all know, and trying to make sure the money gets out appropriately. As with Sowing Seeds, we don't give the money to the people, we pay the vendor, the oil companies, the mortgage, the rent, and things like that. And because of Jack and all the things he's roped me into over the last few years, we've had a very good relationship with Rotary Club, which has been wonderful. It was very generous and very, very appreciative of it. So I'd like to thank you again.
Like we say, we're not giving out a lot of money, it's just mainly recognition. So, and we give him money for oil and tries to focus it on both towns if requests come in. And I don't know how you do that, but at any rate, I gave it to him before I went on holiday the 1st of February because I knew it was going to be cold.
We were broke. We were down to the last little bit that we had. It helped us get through the
Good.
parts of the winter. Good. Thank you.
Yeah. We have Project Reach for later, and KD, you can talk to Scituate.
So the other, well, the Scituate community had a number of groups that we were earmarking for help, assistance. You know, as Jack said, it's not a lot of money, but you know what? It's as much as it's everything we can pull in, we're going to give away. So
I think it was a lot of money.
yeah,
It was a lot. We raised a lot of money.
I think we made $10,000.
Let's give Jake a hand.
last count I had was 10-4.
I know, that's amazing. That's a lot
For
of
a short
money.
period of time, that's
You know, for standing there asking people to donate a bucket to putting the Christmas trees up there, yeah. I think it's amazing we did that.
So, and I know, again, as I mentioned earlier, very briefly, that we had to reschedule or we launched this meeting. It is the middle of school vacation week, so a lot of families and also some recipients are with families doing things either this weekend or this week or this past weekend. So some people just weren't able to be around today to be able to make this rescheduled meeting. However, I will start by saying one of the groups that we're going to give money to will be the Scituate High School's seniors for scholarships. We're not bringing them in today to honor them or to showcase Scituate High School. We will make that presentation in May or June at the end of the school year. So some of the funds that we raised were for Scituate High School scholarships, which we will do separately later in the season, later in June. Secondly, one of the groups, and I know that they're not here, so I'm just going to mention them, that we are trying to provide some assistance to is the Course Foundation, which many of you see in and around town here. They're actively participating in schools to help and assist challenged young adults. So the Course Foundation is the first recipient of one of our donational efforts. And we will make sure that they get that either separately or we'll bring them in for a meeting and give it to them sometime in the future. Next on our group, so we had Scituate High School scholarships, Course Foundation. We wanted to provide some assistance to local Scituate community veterans. And on behalf of the veterans community, Commander Ed Cavell is here to hand over now.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. I am Ed Covell. I'm the commander of the Scituate American Legion Post. Our mission involves helping our fellow veterans. To be a member of the Legion, you have to have served in the U.S. military during the time that our country's blood is being shed. That is why we are born. We provide assistance, however, to all veterans, whether they meet their qualification or not, if they are in need. We do things like drive them to the hospital, the VA hospital. We've provided food support. We have provided oil. But I think probably the part of what we do for them that is most gratifying to me is we've had a couple of veterans from Scituate, or at least living in Scituate, who were down and out And we have involved them in the Legion. Turned out they were more qualified. Provided them with their uniform. And as a Legionnaire, they marched with us in the parade. In one case, the fellow was so seriously injured in his third tour of duty in Vietnam that he rides in our trailer. We have a trailer for the non-marching members. And in both of the cases, the change in the attitude of the individual has been absolutely remarkable. They have blossomed. They're so grateful to be part of a group, to ride in the parade and have everyone yelling, "Thank you for your service," to be recognized for what they have done, and it's hugely gratifying. While I'm talking about what the Legion does, I should mention that we have a second initiative, and that is mentoring youth. And we do quite a bit in Scituate High School and grammar schools. We have been in the teaching curricula of third graders, teaching flag etiquette, for example. We've donated flags to the schools and go in for a ceremony to present them, raise them, and while we're doing that, we teach the kids how to pay proper respect. It's actually required curriculum in third grade in Scituate, and they have allowed us to do it. I think it's really good. We also work with the high school significantly. We have two major functions there. We sponsored Boys and Girls State in junior year, only in junior year. Can be selected to go to a one-week course in how government works at Stonehill College. It's usually in June. This year will be June 14th. There is both Boys State and Girls State. We have a remarkable record of success. We sent Zachary Brazow from Scituate 3 years ago to Boys State, and the following year we sent Marie McCune to Girls State. While you're there for this one-week course, you go to classes to learn how government works, but you also can run for an office. The students are divided into towns. The towns have problems. You get to submit bills on how to solve the problem, and they find out about how town government works and somewhat state government, just a brushstroke on federal. When you run for an office, you have to conduct your whole campaign. There are 400 boys at Boys State, 300 girls at Girls State. The two groups are now doing simultaneous at the same school, which we've never done before. It's only been 3 years now. And it's working fine. I wouldn't want to be responsible for it myself. The guys that are doing it say it works great. And our post provides scholarship to the winners of our oratorical contest. We give out almost $2,000 in scholarships each year to the 3 students who write the best 8 to 10 minute discourse on whatever aspect of the Constitution they would like to write it on. And then they also have to do 4 assigned topics. There are very specific topics each year, influence each year, and it might be the first amendment to the Bill of Rights or some such thing as that. At each level of the contest, and there are 4, during the contest they'll present their 8 to 10 minute oration. They lose points for being too short, points for being too long. They are judged on not only the message that they're conveying, but how they speak, how they dress, poise, and their apparent knowledge of the Constitution. I learn something new every time I go to listen to one of them. These kids amaze me. The three winners from the Post, first, second, and third place, get to compete at what the Legion calls district level. It's sort of like county, but maybe it's 2 counties for us. It represents 34 American Legion posts in our district. And then we do a 2-district pairing. There are 4 zones, and that represents 110 posts. And you would expect that you'd have participants from most of the towns. We're one of the very few towns that even enters the oratorical contest. And because of that, we have frequently had students compete at various levels with no competition. So they automatically advance to the next level. After the zone level, well, there's post-district zone, and then the statewide, which is we refer to as department. And the winner of department gets to present in the national contest in Washington during the summer. The prizes there are, first place is an $18,000 scholarship, second place is $16,000, and third place is $14,000. And there are minor scholarships at each of the other levels. Our post happens to be a lot more generous than either district or no. But that's how we get good kids to compete in it. I interjected the oratorical contest in the middle of my description of the Boys and Girls Statements. There's one other point I want to make on that, and that is that the highest office you can be elected to is senator in Boys State or Girls State. If there will be 2 people in each state who are elected senator, they are automatically invited to participate in Boys and Girls Nation, which is held in Washington, D.C. And the 2 students that I mentioned to you, Zachary and Marie, both went to the national level in Boys State and Girls State. During that week, they get to sit down with their state senators, and they get about 2 minutes face-to-face with the president, one-on-one. Both of the students that we sent to Nation, and it's extraordinary that a town of only 18,000 can get 2 in any period of time, but it was in 2 consecutive years. Both of the students came back and said that it was an absolutely life-changing experience. And we're very proud of what we've done with that. We have many applicants to that in order to find out who we're going to send. And as you know, the Rotary Club has partnered with us now for past 2 years and this year. And you're splitting the cost with us. It costs roughly $300 per student to send them to Boys and Girls State. And we are deeply appreciative of your help in doing that. And we are very appreciative of this. We will put this to good use with veterans. When you think of the town of Scituate, you don't really think about us having people who need help. There are 15 veteran families in this town who need help, and we will help them with your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Joe, you might as well stay standing. As the I think, chairman of the board of directors, am I right?
Yes.
Of the
Oh.
Scituate Council on Aging. Our last group that we earmarked is the Scituate Community Seniors. And on behalf of the seniors, Joe Powers is going to accept.
Linda Hayes, who was on the director, couldn't be here because Wednesday night now she's involved with other things. In fact, with the Council of Aging, we've changed our meeting until Thursday nights now because, and so I won't miss Rotary either. But we found out the other members were having problems with that night, so that's why she can't be here. She's just brand new. And we also have a social worker for the town that's new, and part of her duties are at the senior center, which we haven't had. And then we're getting a new activity director. One of the things we have at the senior center too is the fuel assistant. And I don't know if you know that, that's for anybody, it doesn't have to be seniors. So it's a bigger fuel assistance, and a lot of people come to the senior center for that. And they do new programs. And we've got a new group called the Friends. And you probably have seen of the seniors that are really pushing to have a senior center. And you probably have seen it in the Mariner, and they had a write-up this week on Tuesday, seniors are tired of waiting in the Ledger. So they're really going forward, and the former director is really involved with that. Florence Choate, and she's going to be honored on the 27th as a Citizen of the Year at Barker Tavern. By the Mariner.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Now, I would like to have a picture of the Marshfield people together, so we can put it in the Marshfield paper.
Before we do that, I'm going to just at least acknowledge that Candace, you might add it all to this, but so this campaign that we do every year, when you're rolling around town or towns and you see these things, it's because someone has given us a dollar or more donation. We end up partnering with many retailers in town or businesses in town, and we also we then kind of staff with our time and efforts some of the high traffic areas in town in both Marshfield and Scituate, mostly being supermarkets. Candace has been able to pull together an extraordinary return, really, from some young ladies who worked on a village market. When you walk in a village market in the harbor, you see all those windows covered with trees. We weren't there at all. They did it all. Every time someone came through that cash register, there were a number of staff people there who would say, "Would you like to make a donation on behalf of Scituate Rotary?" And we had a couple of young ladies, and again, they're not here. Maybe we'll try to get them back at another meeting, again, because of school vacation week, et cetera. But they themselves, just two of them, brought in over $1,000.
Wow.
So we wanted to acknowledge, and I don't know their last names, Brody and Megan, and we will acknowledge them with a little gift certificate just because they were extraordinary in helping us to achieve a pretty strong return on time and effort. So I wanted to say thank you to those young ladies, and we'll catch up with them at some time very soon. So with that, Joan, if you want to pull people up for photo ops.
Why don't we close the meeting, and then right at after the meeting is...
And I'll hand it over back over to Jeff.
Yeah, we can do that. I wanted to also mention a thing that I'm doing with Joe. We're building ramps all over the area, Walpole to Marshfield to Plymouth, all over the place. Where people need them. Normally somebody buys the lumber, and about 6 of us, as a guy named Jack Christensen, who some of you people from Marshfield will recognize. His wife is heavily involved in library work, but he's also a master carpenter. And so he does all the design and builds these things. And the last week we've been building things for a shelter in Weymouth for Reverend Herb. Over across the little post office in the north of Weymouth, or one of those Weymouths, and I've never gotten used to the way you name the towns around here. But at any rate, we built 7 of these big benches out of this 2x6 and 2x4 treated lumber and 2 picnic tables. So that took us 2 or 3 days. We don't work fast. Get it done. Joe only works this afternoon, so I thought I'd at least mention it because it's called the Renew Crew. If you see, if you happen to see it in our little green book, or you see it around town, that's Joe. Okay. I think that's it, unless someone else has some other things that we've forgotten tonight. Once again, the purpose tonight was to celebrate the Finns beating the Russians. No, it was to celebrate, just celebrate ourselves. What the heck, why not? And it's worth doing that. You guys are way out ahead. You're the soldiers out there on the ground. I thoroughly enjoyed working with the guys interviewing those kids over at Scituate High School. That you got. If you haven't done that, I don't know, Joe, you didn't do it, did you?
No.
It was really fun. All of us were Vietnam vets, and it was really interesting. Some of those people, those young people, juniors in high school, very, very. They understood what they were doing, and they knew how to stand up to. You can always tell an old man, but you can't tell him much. They stood up. It was pretty good. So we picked 6 of them. We're paying for 3, and they're paying for 3. So that's a part. It's just so. Both he and I are graduates of that program. I don't know if anyone else has been to this Boys and Girls State program, but it's Ed. Oh yeah, can't you tell? Ed and I are just. It's obvious. Yeah, I have a little Minnesota thing. Yeah. It's a high point in my. I still have a few friends that I know right now. So I ended up being senator, state and federal. So we're out of time, and Ben has already left the building. I know where he is.
No.
No, I don't think so.
He gets mad whenever we're a minute over.
Restroom.
He's in the restroom. But
Got a stone out.
he does. He does.
We'll take those pictures, Jack.
You gotta wait for it always. You always have to wait for it. It's always there. Anything over there? Anything else added? Good. Anybody else? I'm glad all of you came. I really am. Thank you.